Welcome. Great to be here, guys. It's like the John Oliver, welcome. It's last week tonight. It's the running journey. I'm Rob, my brother Charlie. We are a week out from finishing. Actually, would you, would you, how does it go? How does our thing go? Oh, hold on. What have you been up to lately? How are things been? How are you feeling? How's life?
I'm a little sore because Monday I ran the Boston Marathon. How
Oh,
about you?
okay. Or you're supposed to go, man, it's taking forever for our skip the dishes driver to show up with our orders.
Oh yeah, how come?
No, you're supposed to go. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you have to be patient. When I was running the Boston Marathon on Monday, I realized that I needed to be patient with my pacing.
Yeah.
No, the joke is that how to get how to tell as many people as possible that you ran the Boston Marathon on Monday. It's kind of all you can think of, I bet, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So yeah, it's been coming up a lot.
We're 6 days out. We ran it 6 days ago.
6 days. Yeah. Feel really
So
fresh though. How about you?
yeah, I feel fresh. I didn't run a marathon. I
All right,
jogged it.
you like
I
yeah,
walked it.
yeah.
uh, I feel fresh. My chest is still like I'm still coughing and stuff, but I don't like my legs feel fine. Patrick told me to take some time off, but uh,
Yeah.
again, before we get into this, so we recorded an episode right after the Boston Marathon. Me,
Yeah.
you, my dad, and Mini Grains in the hotel room. Uh, I got to get that video from my dad's phone. Whose phone was that? Your phone?
I think Joel.
Oh my God, I got to get that video. Got to get it uploaded to the drive. Okay, so we recorded an episode immediately after, which was kind of the first time we do that. Did we ever do that? Oh no, I think we did it for LA,
Yeah, I
for the
think so.
San
Yeah.
Bernardino one. But we weren't that excited. I remember listening it to after. We weren't that excited. But this one, I think my dad was there, and Mini Grains is one of the funniest people on the planet. So he's comic relief nonstop. He made a bit about how I was like, oh, how inspiring was it? And he goes, I was inspired not to ever run a marathon, seeing all these people who had trained and who were walking on mile 18 and 19. And he's like, I was inspired not to run a marathon. But we're about a week out, so like we record an episode the day of, like a few hours after, and now this is kind of looking back a little bit. I want to touch back a little bit on how you did specifically more than me, and then talk a bit about what's coming up. So, I mean, you did 3 hours and 3 minutes.
3 minutes and 50 seconds. I beat Kofuzi by 10 seconds when he ran it. So I don't know
I
if you
don't
know who that is, but
I don't even know that reference.
so it's like the top. He's like the top. You should know. He's like the top running YouTuber around in the world. I think. I think he's number one. So, anyways, his journey. I really like watching him because his journey is very similar to mine. Like the arc, the way he improved over the years, you see it. And he last year he wanted to do sub 3 at Boston in 2000, and he just missed it with a 304, and then I just missed it with a 303.50. But he did do a sub 3 hour at Tokyo after. So yeah, anyways.
Kokuzi.
Kofuzi.
Kofuzi.
Yeah.
He's an American?
Yeah. American. Yeah.
Okay. Man, I guess you have to watch social media in order to know who these people are.
Yeah.
Kofuzi. Okay. Yeah, so you beat him by 10 seconds. I did a 3:27. We talked about it in the last episode as to why it kind of didn't go well for me, but I kind of knew going in that I was not going to do sub 3.
Well, I mean, who would have thought that you need to train for a marathon? I mean, it's not your fault, but I guess you didn't do as much. Like in your critical weeks, you were sick. You couldn't train, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's why. No, that's not why I did a 3:27. I did a 3:27 because I was ill at the time of the race.
yeah, well, and yeah, I think both
And
of them together.
I took, yeah, I was able to do about half my workouts. So from like
Yeah,
November to February, I didn't miss one day. And then I missed, I missed whatever, about half
yeah.
the
I
days.
ran. I've never had such a good streak. I ran every single day from January 26th right up to the Boston Marathon. And that was kind of the plan. I was actually doing a lot of bike before that. So yeah, no, it went really well.
It's crazy how you really have to be, things have to line up for you to be able to do, like, I remember when we interviewed Tyler,
Yeah.
the Olympian, and he was talking about how he won the pre-races. Like, he was the best shape of his life and he won the pre-races.
Yeah.
Then he had an injury, an Achilles injury. And because of that, he finished,
He
10th
couldn't
or 12th.
train. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, he was that close. That guy's got a 4-year cycle. So like, this isn't
Yeah.
me complaining about having a bad run here and one marathon and for a
Yeah.
guy who's not even going to register. But like, I very, very in a small way, I understand what he was saying, because I was in the best shape of my life. And then you just get a little bit of a bad period and you can't, it's got to come together to get a personal best, right?
Yeah. I do consider it a personal best for me. Like, I think everything did line up except the weather, maybe. But the average time for 2024 was not just over 9 minutes slower than 2023, and 33% less sub 3 marathoners. So 3,900 in 2023 went sub 3 and only 2,600 in 2024. So, I mean, yeah, the conditions weren't that tough, but they did make a difference, right?
It was 9 minutes slower, right? The average pace?
The average time, yeah. Like, I mean,
I
think a lot of that is skewed because maybe some of the 4-hour ones, but
the 4.5s did like 450 or whatever, right?
Yeah. But still, like, I mean, yeah, it's just an indicator that it was a little bit harder, and people that could run 240s were doing 320s, like, depending on how well they did. But yeah.
And you think of, like, I was bib 5,600 or something like that, and I finished 6,000, even though I ran a 3.
Yeah.
And sorry, just to explain this, maybe you can explain. I just have to plug my phone in. Maybe you could explain the bibs, how they work.
So my understanding of how the bibs work is they take the time that you submitted and they just put them in order. Fastest time is the lowest number, except for like the elites and maybe some other minor exceptions. But basically, the fastest time has the lowest bib number, and they just go up. And that's how they kind of try to ensure that your waves are, that it's more people that are equal pacing for the waves. So it's easier to run with people that are around the same pace as you. So Rob was 5,600 and I was 4,696. And what was your placement?
6,000 and something. I didn't check the exact number, but it was in the 6,000.
Yeah, and I think I was 3,570, 30, just under 3,600. So I actually beat my bib by 1,000. So I'm super happy with it, actually, even though I like 30 hour.
I ran like a half hour slower than what I thought I could do, and I only lost like 1,000 points in my bib. And you gained bib spots, as we call. I don't know. Is that a thing? Bib spots? Is that what people call it?
I don't know. I think it's a thing to do better than your bib number, but
yeah.
So I beat my bib number by about 1,000, and I ran 4 minutes slower than I was hoping. So yeah.
Oh no, that was in my gender. Okay, I finished 8,000. Okay, 8,000. That makes sense.
But still, like, that's 27 minutes, right? And
yeah, I did a 3:27. Like, So
yeah.
I mean, I was passed a lot in the last whatever miles.
Yeah, so I ran a 5-minute positive, and I was being more passed in the first half, and I was passing everyone in the second half, even though it's 5 minutes slower in the second half because of the hills and the heat. I think just it was really hard on some people.
Like, it is a much later marathon, right?
Yeah, it's later. Yep.
10 a.m. It's not early. I can't think of many races that are. Do you remember one and you've done in your life that's 10 at 10 o'clock?
Well, there's like the 10K, sometimes a 10K or 5K, but yeah, no,
Are they
it's
at
not
10 o'clock?
not really, no.
I've seen like 8, 9. I think I've seen 8:39. It's a different ball game though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's the heat was. Someone asked me today on my run, like, "Oh, how was it?" I said, "Well, it was actually 9 minutes slower on average." Oh my God, it must have been like 35 degrees. No. It
No,
was like
so it was like 16 at the start and like 21 at the
22,
end,
21. Yeah.
22 maybe, yeah, but very sunny.
Yeah.
But
It's
like like running in that versus running in like 8 degrees or even 7, 5 to 8. It's so much easier 5 to 8, like for us anyways. Like we weren't acclimated either because we didn't train at all in the heat, right? So
yeah. But I was thinking of like when I did run with Rob last year, the legs were at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? My
yeah.
second half of the day. And I remember like I always would struggle through the second
Yeah, it
one.
was probably the heat. It was probably because it was warmer.
Now that I've like run
And
Boston, and I remember, yeah,
your
no, it was my
second one too.
second, but like I wonder if it was how much of the struggle was heat and how much of the struggle was the fact that I'm doing my second one. Because I know I met
Yeah.
some guys, like we've talked about this on the show, but I met some guys who wanted to do a sub 2,
Yeah.
and they had trained and they were
Yeah.
close-ish or close, and they ended up doing 2:10s and 2:15s and in the afternoon,
Well,
2:08,
well,
2:08.
I felt based on feel like that the miles felt about 15 to 20 seconds harder than what I was doing in training. At like a cool temp, like most of my training miles were at a cool temperature. And they felt like 15 to 20 seconds harder. And usually in a race, they feel easier. So, yeah, that could have just been my feel. But I think those people that were trying to do 2 in the heat, that's likely a big part of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we did have that talk at Run Club, eh? Some guys were saying like they wanted their goals for the Manitoba Marathon, and then they were saying, "Oh, what if it gets hot?" And we're talking about it, and I said the right answer is you need to lower your expectations and maybe go out slower. And then I said, but I've never ever done that, like because you want to hit your time so bad, right? But for Boston, I actually did back off my effort at like mile 8, so I think that was good.
that's when you realized you weren't going to do it sub 3.
Well, I just was like, this is too hard. Like, it's just a little too hard. Like, I knew I couldn't sustain this. I knew there were hills coming. I knew it was going to get warmer. I was like, this is already a little too hard. So I just backed off like a little bit on the gas, a little bit at mile 8. And my plan was to be at 129 at the half, but I was at 129.35 just because from 8 to 13, I backed off a little bit. Well, I was going a little too fast, maybe the first 7 miles. And then I backed off a little bit and ended up being 35 seconds behind where I wanted to be at the half.
So that was on Monday. You got out of there. I think you were, well, I don't know how you were feeling. You were feeling pretty high, right? Like you were feeling pretty proud of your accomplishment, I think.
Oh yeah, I've been on like cloud 9 ever since. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, super, super happy. Even though, yeah, I couldn't have ran a better race. Very, very proud of the race I ran. My legs felt fresh on Tuesday. I did a run, but then on Wednesday, everything started to get really stiff. Like, what about
Yeah,
you?
I
How did
saw
you feel
you
after?
did like, what did you do on Tuesday? You did like
6 miles, but
9
that's
miles.
because I did an extra mile because I got lost in Boston. But yeah.
Okay. And then did you jog? Did you jog after? Yeah, you jogged every day or swam or biked or you've done,
No. I didn't jog from Wednesday,
but you swam
Tuesday.
Thursday, Friday, or
Yeah, I
Wednesday.
mean, I went to the pool. I went to the pool on Wednesday, Thursday, and that was swimming. It's not as fun as running, I'm gonna
It's
say.
not. It's not. Nobody ever said it. Who's ever said it was? Swimming for
um,
us is kind of how non-runners feel about jogging.
yeah,
Like if
I
you were to
mean,
if you were to bump into a
Like the
random
first
person on the
jog I
street
did. Yeah. Sorry,
and
go
you were
ahead.
to say, I need you to do, and you were to say, I need you to do an hour jog right now, they'd be like, oh my God, like I don't want to do, oh, it's going to be so hard. And that's kind of how I feel about swimming. Oh, I know I can do it. It's going to be painful. It's going to take a while. And it's hard to get your mind off of the swim. You can't just go somewhere else because every stroke is so important.
But I was like, okay, just take it easy. Just do like easy, super easy swim. But even when you go easy with swimming, it feels hard. I don't know.
Because you're
Weird.
dragging in the water and it takes a
Yeah.
lot of effort. It's
Yeah.
almost easier if you're going, I know it's not, but I mean, it's not like jogging where you just kind of slow down. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
No. So anyways, you did 2 swims. So I think I put in your
But
Strava.
bike that bike I like doing. So I got back on the bike on Friday. But I felt like I was really out of shape on the bike because I hadn't done it in 3 weeks. So that was hard. But then run club on Saturday was good, except I ran with my pieces of wood. I don't know. So I had just been running with super shoes for like the last 2-3 weeks before
Cheater
Boston.
shoes.
Yeah, cheater shoes, because I wanted to have the good positive vibes going into Boston, right? And then for the first time, I ran in non carbon plate shoes, and I was like, "How do you guys do this? Like, this is like it felt so hard."
Yeah.
But run club was fun, yeah.
Yeah, run club was fun. We ran. Oh, you, you asked me how I was doing. I was doing good. Well, I don't think I was doing good. I mean, you kind of feel like it's not like I felt lucky. Like I felt lucky to be. So at first I was disappointed. I was like, you train all this time, you wait years and years to qualify for the Boston Marathon. You train for it, you put in all the hours, and I was disappointed that something outside my control impacted me. So then I was trying to remind myself, okay, just this was outside your control. Like you did what you could. Like it's fine, Rob. But that was hard. It was hard to like convince myself of that. So I was a little bit down, and then I got to Miami. We had a conference. I flew right after the Boston Marathon. I got to Miami, and I was on the ocean, and I went for a jog, and I was just like, man, we're so lucky to be alive. It was like a what did you call it? Gratitude run. I
Gratitude
just
run,
did
yeah.
like 3 miles on the ocean with a buddy. And it was just like, he talked about like his kids and how healthy he is after a hip replacement and all these things he's gone through and I was just like, man, we're lucky. We're so lucky. Part of it was like I was in a very fancy hotel in Miami on the beach on the ocean, just enjoying life. Part of it was a lot of people try to run Boston Marathon. They never qualify. They never ever qualify. A lot of people. And here I am complaining about my time. So I was like, I just kind of hit me how lucky we were to be alive and how lucky. And I've been smiling since. I've really enjoyed my last two runs. So I did a run club on Saturday. I did a run club yesterday. Outside, felt good. I don't care about the pace. It was just, we're pretty lucky. We are so lucky in life and in running. Like
Yeah,
both of us are
absolutely.
lucky
Yeah.
in both. And
Mm-hmm.
like who cares?
Totally.
Boston will be there another day, and I'm gonna crush it another day. And I told Patrick, Boston hasn't heard the last from me, but
So you need to qualify then.
yeah,
Maybe not
at
this year.
first I was dead set on running a marathon like right away, like as soon as I was healthy,
Yeah.
and then I realized it's gonna be there because I was like, well, I'm in this great shape. I did all these miles. I have speed right now. Like I got to do it, and then I realized it's fine. It's okay.
But really, you probably just need like, I mean, you could probably do very well with just 4 weeks, but you could, if you get a good 8-week build, I think. Like even I think probably Chicago, you're running it already. That's an easy course. It's nice and cool. You could potentially get a good marathon
Yeah.
there. I know you're busy that weekend, so it might not be ideal, but
Yeah, at first I was gung ho on finding an immediate race. Like, so I have Run with Rob starting in 2 weeks. So that's
Yeah.
2 weeks of a marathon a day. So I figured 2 weeks after that puts me into
Yeah.
June, and then I probably
The
should have
best way,
recovered.
best way to get ready for a marathon is to run 2 halves a day for 14 days, right?
I think so, or no? Is that
Yeah.
not true?
Uh, I'm thinking it's probably good, but you probably need some recovery from that. Yeah.
I think I was looking at. So one thing I could have done is just kind of. I'm pacing the Manitoba Marathon. That's on June 17th. That is a full month after Run with Rob, and I thought, why don't I just go hard at that race? That's an easy race. I mean, as long as you don't get heat, right? But
Yeah,
it's
it's often very warm is what makes it hard, right?
I know, but it's still 7 to 10, right?
I mean, if you get a decent low, you got a chance. But yeah.
So I was thinking, why don't I just run that? But I've committed to pacing that at 3:45. So I was like, okay, what about like July? And then I'm thinking like weekends, and I'm going to Europe, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It will be there. Boston will be there. I'll find the time.
Yeah.
But it's not heard the last. I've not heard. It has not finished with me. I'm not done fighting with
Well,
Boston.
what you should do is go with Tanya, and you guys do that one. I don't know which one there, the one in September.
Yeah, but I don't need to do a cheater marathon to qualify. Like I
No,
can.
no, no.
I
But
ran a 120. Like
yeah, yeah. No,
but it's
no,
like
no. I
just
mean,
to accompany her. You mean?
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I would like to for her to try it at some point. I
I
don't know
would
why I
too.
care so much about her.
I've offered it to her many times. Maybe I'll bring it up again. You need to catch her when she's in a good mood. Like
Yeah, she was sick
catch
a
her
little bit this weekend, so yeah.
you catch her in a good mood, and you can do it. So it'll be there. So at first I was like, gotta, that first night and the next day I was like, gotta find a marathon, and I'm searching all the marathons, and I'm
Oh, hey,
looking at
I was
sites.
I was the same way. I was like, I just want to go. This was so good. Like I was so for different reasons, I guess. I was like on cloud nine. I was like, I want to just like do more races because that was so much fun. But
Yeah. And I was just like, that's not fair. It's not fair. You deserve a better shot than that. You need go again, try it again, do it again. And then I was like, whatever. Like we're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be able to run. We're
it
lucky
reminds me
to
of
be able to.
when we used to play hockey, and when you lost a big game, you wanted to just play the next one right away, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I know I'm not healthy today, but I think like in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm hoping. But anyways,
Yeah,
I've totally gotten over it. But I'd say not in a great spot there for a day, for like maybe one day,
yeah.
and then
Of course,
I
yeah.
got
No, it's
over.
understandable. Like because it kind of at that point, it kind of probably for you, even though this isn't accurate, you probably felt like this was your one chance at Boston, right? But you're gonna get more chances, right? So
No, I didn't feel
no.
like that. No, I didn't feel like it was
Well,
my one chance. I
I
just felt
mean,
like
for a while, anyways. Like you're not gonna get another chance at Boston for at least another year, right? So that
no, at
even
least 1 year for sure.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure, I'm
yeah.
not getting a chance for at least a year.
Like
Yeah,
it's
and I
only
know
once a
that
year.
next year.
So
Yeah,
back
you
so
can't
that's
just go and.
so when I sent you the text about like trying to work in Boston into every sentence, I hope that like helped your mood a little bit because like me and Cheryl were doing it and we thought it was just so hilarious. Like, oh yeah, the weather's nice today. It's a little bit cooler, a lot better for running than when I ran the Boston Marathon on Monday, and we
On
were just doing
Monday.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were just kind of doing joking around like that. It was kind of fun, but
This elevator, do you think this elevator is so slow? Yeah, a little slow
yeah,
like the runners I was passing on Monday at the Boston Marathon,
yeah,
and on and on. Yeah, I was trying to not tell people about it, because
okay.
then the next question is always, "Wow, how did you do? What was your time?" And then like
Well, you
I
can
did a
just
three
say like,
hour
can you
three.
not just say, can you just not? I did well, and then I think that's all the detail you need to give, right?
Yeah, no, I know. It's just kind of didn't want to, whatever. But
because you did, like, I mean,
yeah,
okay,
no,
you didn't get your best time, but I mean, you got a good time.
yeah, it's fine. I knew it was going to be, slow and long. But again, like I will. I like running. I like running races, and
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stop running races. So
yeah.
whatever, I'll run a fast one at some point, and maybe I will do Chicago. The more I've been thinking about that, the more that makes a lot of sense, because that's like 2
I'm
weeks.
so jealous. I'm so jealous. I wanna run Chicago. Oh yeah, I can't. No, I'm training for my Ironman.
There's no way to
Um,
get in. You can't
I
run
know,
Chicago.
even if I could, no, I know. So I can't be jealous, even though Chicago like might be a fun course to run. I'll run it the year after. I'll run it in 2025. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I wanted to like I'll be in shape for so Chicago. Originally I was going to do one of a few things. I was like going to wear dead animal on my head with a onesie, Team Canada, or I was going to run it barefoot, or I was maybe going to run it on no sleep, like an all-nighter, and then see what that, something like fun I wanted to do. And now I'm thinking maybe I just go to bed at 10 o'clock. All those guys are going to go out. The crew I'm with, they're going to go to the bar. By the time they come back, I'll be getting up, and it'll
And
be
then
like
go find your running partners, the Zdeno, Chara, and
Big Z, my man. That guy, like, he's got to stop following me. Like, enough is
he
enough.
just keeps following you, eh?
I'm just trying to run my
He
race.
even slowed down his pace so he could run with you for
I
Boston.
know. Let me be, like, it's tough being a celebrity, right? Like a YouTube running
Yeah,
journey celebrity, and then people
yeah,
find you on the course all the time.
yeah.
So it's so hard. Big Z, leave me alone. Big Z, jeez. Uh,
Well,
and
he's got a
now
long reach, so it's tough to it's tough to get away
he
from him.
runs like he runs like a little hunchy. He's hunchy. He's very hunchy how he runs. But
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's
yeah.
got long strides. I can't believe that guy. Well, at least he didn't beat me. I beat him twice. Uh, you ran another race this morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 15K. God, that's hard.
Yeah, you
Give me
ran
a
a 15K.
marathon. Give me a marathon any day. That was the hardest race. That was the best effort I've ever given in a race in my entire life this morning. I'm so proud of it. Even though like it wasn't a great time, it was a good time, but not a like it wasn't as fast as like my half marathon PR. But like I was breathing so hard, I was dying. There was some wind, and so it was a 5K loops with
Heavy
a
breather.
turnaround.
Heavy breather would have been proud of you.
Heavy breather was me. I was like the whole way, and I was trying to hold on to this guy that was in front of me that was breaking the wind.
Windbreaker was there.
There was a windbreaker for me, so
There was
thanks
a
for
heavy. You were the heavy breather, and there was
I
a
was
windbreaker.
I was heavy breather, and windbreaker was helping me. So kudos to that guy. But I don't know who he is, but he was, yeah. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. But I think maybe I was a little tired from because on Monday I ran the
What did
Boston
you?
Marathon.
Oh, that's right. You ran the Boston Marathon on Monday.
Yeah, so I think I
Right.
was a little tired, maybe, but yeah.
Did you see people there that ran Boston?
I think there was one or two other ones that ran it, but I wasn't. I think there was like an older gentleman and an older lady that ran it, but I don't think they were running it. I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. You had I think I
So wait,
finished like
Sorry, go
6th or
ahead.
7th or something. Yeah.
Overall,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know this Patrick Riddell series, right? It's a trail running series, is it? At Birds Hill
No,
Park?
no, no. It's a road. It's a road.
Oh, it's a
It's
road.
road. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. I
So
mean, there's like 12 feet of gravel at some point. You have to
this
you
is
have
the
to run
third
on.
race. They do a 5K, a 10K, then a 15K, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you signed up for it, I guess, a while ago, or you knew it was going to be a few days after.
No, I signed up like when I got back. I was like,
Okay.
I need
I didn't
another race.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know about it. But I almost enjoyed like those two running groups last 2 days. that was
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So you went back to our hometown of La Broquerie and did a running group with like basically some childhood friends kind of thing, right?
and people I don't see that often, like really don't see that often. People that some of them I haven't seen since Run with Rob last year. Like Pierre Piché was there, Paul
So that must have been a
Grenier,
good time. Yeah.
Gauthier, Joss. Yeah, it was.
How were the conversations? Was Joss there too?
Joss came, yeah.
Okay. How were the conversations? What did you guys talk about?
It was nonstop. We talked about running. I asked everyone what their goals were about running and pacing and what they were trying to do. And then I told a few stories of whenever something.
On Monday, I was running the Boston Marathon.
Well, they asked me and I kind of brushed it off pretty quick. And then I realized like, whatever. So I told a few stories, but I mean, it's a new crowd, right?
Yeah. So you can reuse the same ones.
I got so many stories, man. I got like thousands of stories. So like, we have so many stories and like all the ones that I haven't told on this. So I have a lot of story material and whenever there'd be like a 1 or 2 second lull, I would like start a story. I would just go with another story. But like Paul didn't talk much. Pete was a little hungover, I think, or he went to a social last night and he thanked me. He's like, so glad you texted me because I would have probably not jogged today. And now I got up, I jogged, and I'm going to sweat it out and I'm going to have a much better day. And just thank you. Thank you. So I was like, awesome. And then Gauthier, unbelievable athlete, right? We played hockey with him our whole life.
That guy's a good hockey player.
And he's a good guy too. He's a great guy. And he's like, I haven't jogged more than, I think he said 4 miles or something in the last year.
So that was his like, longest one.
Yeah, we did 6 miles. And he was like, wasn't even breathing. So I told him, I said,
that guy's a special athlete for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then last year, Derek Funk signed up. Derek Funk did Run with Rob on the Thursday or Friday, went back to La Broquerie, played in the golf tournament with Gauthier, and convinced him to sign up for Run with Rob like 3 days later. So he hadn't jogged. Him and Ram came out. They both signed up and came out, and they did like 2:20 or something like that, 2:25. I don't remember the exact time, but without really training. So this year, I was like, Gauthier, you can run a half marathon. Like you can do. So I was trying to get him to do a CMV Canada half. I think that whole crew is going to do it. And Joss said she's going to do the Cheater Marathon in LA. She's looking at the LA one.
She is doing the same one we did. Yeah.
Yeah. She wanted to do it last year.
Does she want to qualify for Boston or something or what?
I think she just wants to finish her first ever marathon. She's never done a marathon.
Oh, okay.
But she jogs a lot.
You know what they say, marathons, they're hard.
They're hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was,
but not as hard as 15Ks.
They're way hard. Yeah, I I that to somebody. Oh, when we were talking about running, I said, I only do half marathons, and I said half marathons are harder than marathons. He said, for who? I was like, for me and for some other runners. No, that's not true. And I was like, it's true because you have to go hard the whole way.
I was in such pain today for this 15K. Like I was, oh man, it was hard.
So I was rejuvenated over the last. Yesterday we had Run Club and we ran with, what was it, 7 guys or something like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then today was Run Club La Broquerie edition, which I put together in less than 16 hours. Like I started texting people last night and I was like, who wants to come run with me? And then all of a sudden I got 5 people. And then I was like, all right, this is what I like doing. I like running with people. I like inspiring people to run. I like doing races and motivating them to push themselves. And I enjoy that. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy doing races and I enjoy motivating people. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And that was so fun this morning and yesterday. Yeah, I didn't have to push myself to do a 15K and I didn't have to feel any pain at all. My heart rate didn't go above 122. It was awesome.
Well, here's the weird thing is my heart rate didn't go that high. So I think it must be something related to having run the Boston Marathon on Monday.
On Monday.
It's got to be related to that.
How do you find it is running after running the Boston Marathon?
You got to take a couple of days of recovery and then, but
And then next week, I have a race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a big race. I'm looking
it's a big
forward to
race.
hearing about. Yeah, for your dog Curly.
Yeah, for my dog Curly. So I've talked about my dog Curly on this channel before. He's been ramped up to about a half marathon he's able to do now. I'd say, well, I did an hour and a half with him at kind of 8.5 minute mile pace. He's
But
close. He's
he
close.
hasn't been putting it. He's been kind of lazy recently, right? Like he
Well,
hasn't
he's
been
not been
putting in.
training at all.
He
Huh?
hasn't been
Like
training. Right?
the only person who can control his training is me. My wife takes him for the odd like jog, but when
Yeah,
she jogs, she stops and sniffs the roses and stuff. And no, with
yeah,
me, we go. So it's a 10K. It's called the Manitoba Marathon Furry Friends, I think 10K, something like that. And
yeah.
I signed up for it, and I want to go win a race for the first time in my life. Well, no, I mean well, no, I've won my age group, but I've never won a race other than the 1 mile post Ironman race against Diego and Labby.
You've had a couple podiums and things, so yeah, it's pretty
No,
good.
I've had, I think, 3 or 4 podiums, and I'm proud of that. But
Yeah,
I want to go win this race. I want to win this 10K because you have to run it with a dog, and my dog is fast, and I'm decent. So
yeah. So
like
let's talk about the strategy for this race here that's coming up.
so I'm worried that my dog is not super friendly with other dogs.
Okay,
So
yeah,
bit of a concern. I'm gonna have to go. My plan, and tell me if you agree. I'm gonna go kind of show up late
yeah.
or like right on the
Ooh,
time.
okay, yeah,
And then
interesting.
I'm going to go kind of off to the side, stay away from everyone. When they start kind of counting down, I'll go right to the front. I'll hold them close to my leash, right to the front. And
Yeah, yeah,
then I'm going to bolt out hard to get a lead, like a
yeah,
350K, my first K, something like that, to
yeah,
get a
yeah,
lead.
yeah,
And then once we're ahead of all the other dogs, he can chill. I can kind of slow the pace
yeah.
down and I can
Just
just
stay in
maybe.
the lead. Just stay in the lead. Maybe, but if there's wind, you might want to draft if you want to
Do you
win
think
it,
there's
right?
do you think I'm going to win this thing?
I don't know. There's a chance. I mean, so this combination of being a good runner and having a good running dog, I think that kind of narrows down the competition. So yeah, I think you've got a chance.
I have a chance. I have a chance to win a race for the first time in my life.
Unless John Coffin has a dog, then
Has a Labrador or something like that.
yeah,
When I went to the Terry Fox 10K last year, I was
yeah,
running with my kids, right? And it was a Terry Fox 10K. So me and my 4 kids. And I remember at the starting line, I saw like people stretching and I saw like, and then like people were at the start line and go and they took off. And I was just thinking, like, who are these people that are
yeah.
racing a 10K for Terry? And now here I am trying to win a dog race in a 10K. I'm going to be those guys.
Where is it and what time? If I want to watch,
It's at the Assiniboine Park. I think it's at like 8 o'clock start or something. I'll
and
check.
it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday race. Yeah.
Okay,
After Labby's social. Labby, who's a guest who's been on this show before, is having his wedding social on Saturday. And you should
okay.
go to that if you don't have any plans. And that means I'm going to be up late, and then less sleep
Patrick's already got me doing 2 hour bikes and 1 hour runs on Sundays.
for your Ironman. How far is
Yeah.
your Ironman? It's
No,
like
no. I said so we had a call and I said I want to keep about 9 hours a week until we start actually training. So
yeah. So you're doing some bikes so that you're not just jogging.
yeah, like my volume of running is going to go down. Like even though I'm going to be doing more training, I'm going to be doing a lot less running. So I feel like my running is going to suffer, but whatever. Who cares?
But what did you tell me? The base is there. The base will always
Yeah,
be there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can just
exactly.
do a 6-week build, and you can pretty much do any race.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Same here. Okay, so what did you finish? 6th? So
I don't know where I finished.
what was your time?
I think it was 103.10 around there. Like
An
so
hour, 3 minutes, and 10 for 15 kilometers. So
like
4 minutes and
413.
15. Yeah, okay, 4:13.
Just under my marathon pace. And it felt way harder.
Yeah, so clearly you're suffering a little bit. But I saw some other times. Joy Palmer did a 105.
Wow.
I saw some other
Fast.
times in Strava.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I got this weekend. Then we got Run with Rob. We're hoping to get Louis Cormier on the podcast this week. We met him in Boston. I read his book. Maybe I'll give you his book. It's a pretty quick read if you want to read it before. Maybe I
Yeah,
don't know.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Do you read? Are you a reader?
I'm a listener of books. I mean,
You're
I
like
used to
Derek.
read. I
I read a whole
used
bunch
to
of
read.
books.
I used to read, but it takes a lot of effort.
I like reading in my bed, like because I read
Yeah,
2-3
you know
pages
what?
and I fall asleep.
You know what? That might be a good habit for me to start actually, because
It's
I think it
hard
would
to
help
get into it.
with this sleep. Yeah.
It's hard to get into it, but once you're into it, you sleep
Yeah.
and you don't get that, watching show, whatever, white light kind
Yeah.
of into your dreams
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
sleeping as well. I
Yeah.
for sure sleep
True.
better when I read. And then I just kind of fall asleep with the book on me and whatever. I don't know what happens to the book. Maybe my wife takes it away or maybe I sleep with it, but I literally fall asleep while I'm reading.
Yeah. No, I used to do that a long time ago, but yeah.
And it takes me a while to get through a book because some nights I only do like 4 or 5 pages, 2
half a
pages,
page, half a
half
page
a
a night.
page, whatever. It gets me through it.
Yeah.
Gets me through it. All right. So this is a bit of a shorter episode because we already did touch on Boston, but I wanted to touch on how incredible your results were in Boston. I don't think we fully grasped that on Monday, that you did basically an equivalent, loose numbers, roughly 9 minutes. So you would have done maybe a little less, maybe 8 minutes, 7-8 minutes, but you for sure on an adjusted basis broke 3 hours on an adjusted basis. Take that for what it's worth. But
There's no I don't know. Isn't there a Yoda line? It doesn't matter. I'll get it next year, but
no, I'm just saying it was a good
I'm
race.
saying I agree with you. I think had I been a bit luckier and we would have had like ideal conditions, I would have definitely done under 3 hours. But you never get ideal conditions, right? So
I'm just saying it was a good race.
Yeah, I know it was a great race. A great
You
race.
don't have to backtrack into a compliment. You could just take it. You could just take the compliment.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So that was a really good race. And kind of bucket list, right? New York, Boston, Chicago. Some of us may be running Chicago this year. Some of us won't be. Some of us will be.
Yeah.
One of us will be. One won't be.
That should be a lot of fun. Whoever does that.
And then whoever out of the two of us here that is doing that. And then today I got really excited about Run with Rob because Paul Grenier came to the house, my cousin.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm flying in. Tell me when you want me to fly in, and like we're logistics, and so maybe I can get, maybe he'll bring his brother Grains, and he says I think I might be able to do 2 legs. So
might as well if you're gonna fly over there.
Yeah, you might as well. So I got excited about that. We got that coming up. So some good episodes coming up. We got Louis Cormier hopefully this week, and then we got We're going to do a Run with Rob episode, and then we're going to lead into the summer here, where you're going to do a race every weekend, probably every second weekend, and
probably.
And then we got some really good stuff coming up too. You got Ironman, I got World Championships, I got my 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 continents. There's a lot of activity coming up here for the channel, for the show. Stay right here. Stay tuned in. Subscribe, like, wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell your friends about us. And by all means, follow us on Strava and on TikTok and wherever else. And thanks for tuning in. Charlie, anything else you want to add?
No, let's just keep enjoying it, right?
And especially now that it's nice outside, that's another thing. I went outside.
Oh God, it's so nice. It's so nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. Felt so good today. Man, I felt good. This is fun. Fun to be lucky and fun to be out there running and healthy. And so we'll leave it on that note. Thank you guys for tuning in. Charlie, very nice race. Completed. What did happen again this week?
On Monday, I was in Boston running the Boston Marathon.
Oh, wow.
What about you?
Oh, cool. Yeah, on Monday, I happened to be there too. Yeah, I jogged the Boston Marathon.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.